Hello, my name is Lakin and welcome to my channel. This is...
Hi, I'm Walter.
Yeah, and this is Two Peas in a Book, where each month we discuss two books.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first book for October.
Yes, October.
We're not skipping October, no. This is...
You just want to cut straight to Christmas?
No! Halloween's the best out of all of them.
It's the only one holding back the ever-encroaching holiday season.
It's the last good time of the year before we get to the
Before
pain.
we see family and stuff.
Well, not this year.
That's true.
Thanks, COVID. I'm kidding.
So what book are we reading?
Well, we're discussing Prey by Michael Crichton.
Mm-hmm.
I picked this book because it's kind of horror. Not horror. It's suspense.
Yeah, it's a little bit suspenseful.
Yeah, and so I figured we would read this for the spooky times. It's not that spooky of a book, but you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much to really discuss about this book. I think our one thing that we keep saying throughout the whole thing is just want it to be longer.
Yeah.
But we have some thoughts, so if you want to stick around and hear them, they will be spoilery, but I think it's a fun time. But yeah, so anything you want to say before we get into it?
No.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and start the discussion of Prey. What are you currently reading?
I am reading the third book in the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks, and it's called The Broken Eye. This is only like my 5th time reading this series. It's fine. It's going good.
Yeah.
Still 5 stars on all of them. Straight across the board, 5 stars.
What would get you to change your rating?
Of a Brent Weeks book?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Nothing?
I don't know, like, I've read them so many times, and I'm sticking with my rating. Like, what could change to the book itself?
Well, like, you could, like, realize something. Like, when you're reading it, are you reading it to, like, look for new things, or are you reading it to, like, experience it again?
Both. And every single time I find new things.
Yeah.
And it stays at 5 stars. Five. I've read it 5 times. Or I'm reading it for the 5th time. And it's staying at 5 stars. Like,
that could also be just your nostalgia.
well, yeah.
So, I was just wondering.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Well, I'm currently reading a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I'm reading one of the books she's reading. I'll just shout it when she says it. It's fine.
So, well, I can get them because they're physical books.
All of them are physical
All
books.
of them,
All
and
of
that's
them.
why it's taking me so long. Okay, so the reason I'm reading so many books at once is because they're all physical, and it takes me forever to read physical books, so I have to break them up into tiny, tiny chunks. I'm currently reading the one by John Mars. This is a, like, Black Mirror episode.
Ooh.
Where, like, they're matched. Like, you swab your DNA, you send it in, and they find you your perfect match. Like, soulmate.
Interesting.
Based on your DNA and stuff. And so, we're following, like, 6 or 7 different people. And, like, all the chapters are really short. And so far, I'm loving it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm already this far into it. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. And one of the people we're following is a serial killer.
Cool.
So,
Love it.
yeah.
That sounds very interesting. Is this a library book?
Yeah, they're all library books. And then the next book I'm reading is An Anatomy of Beasts by Olivia A. Cole. This is the second one in the Favoli series, which I read the first one in like 2018. And I forgot about the series. But then when I was looking for books to read, like on my TBR list, I realized that this book was on there. So I was like, oh, okay, I should probably finish it. And then I'm reading I don't have a bookmark for this one, so just have to hold it open. But I'm reading Lovely War by Julie Berry. I'm this far into it. Loving it. And this is World War One, even though it says and two.
Well,
it says World War One and World War Two, but like we've only been in World War One so far. So I don't know. But yeah, this is adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would suggest reading it, but also like I don't know if you you like romances sometimes.
It was okay when I was reading it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you would like it. Well, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe find it on audiobook somewhere. And then the last one is still reading the next book for this is My Best Friend's Exorcism.
This is the one I'm reading too.
Yeah, because it's physical, so we have to read it together.
Yeah.
And we're this far into it, so.
Are we halfway up?
Yeah, we're over halfway.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we'll have it done before the next 2 Ps in a book.
I sure hope so.
I mean,
It'd be
we have to.
Yeah. I'm not gonna record it without that.
But yeah, so
It's free.
I'm reading all of these. It's a lot. I don't like it, but it has to be done. Okay. So, now that that's out of the way, where do you want to start with this book?
Let's start with ratings.
Okay.
Just general.
What did you rate this book?
What did you rate this book?
What did I rate this book?
Yeah.
I gave it 3 stars.
I always go first on this.
Okay. Well, now what'd you rate it?
No. 5 stars. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was like 4.5, but like I rounded up.
Yeah, that's basically 5.
Yeah.
No, so
3 stars?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
Like the only reason, like, I mean, I definitely like after reading this, I know I want to read like all of his books because like I read Jurassic Park and really loved it.
Yeah.
And then this one, even though I didn't like love it, like I still really enjoyed reading it. Like it's not like a 3 stars isn't bad. Like it's still like a good book.
It's above halfway. It's above 50%.
I just wouldn't I wouldn't want to buy this book and put it on my shelf.
Yeah, I can see that too.
So like, it was good and I'm glad I read it, but like it's not like ooh, go read this book.
Yeah.
But I definitely like his writing and like the way he like does suspense and tension and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
he does a good job.
And so like I definitely want to read more of his stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. Cool. What did you think of the main character? I don't know his name.
Yeah, I don't know his name either.
We read too many books to retain that information.
Well, I didn't really have many thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, one of my complaints for this book was that it felt like it went way too fast.
It was very
like
fast.
him realizing, like him finding out the problem, him solving the problem, and then finding out the next problem, and then solving that one. Like all like it happened within like a week.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It was a quick book.
Yeah. And like even though like I'm gonna compare it to Jurassic Park because that's the other book I read from him. And like in Jurassic Park, that's like 2 days. We're following them on like 2 days.
Yeah.
But that book felt so much longer and like there was so much more in it versus this book that lasted like a week and it felt like it was like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So like I felt like I didn't dislike any of the characters, but I also wasn't connected to any of the characters. Like I just didn't care about the characters.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't a character-driven book. There was no development because it was such a short time period. At all. There was no time to care about anybody. It was solely just story-based, like the experience of what's happening. But I would definitely equate it to Jurassic Park as well. I think the reason that you might think that Jurassic Park was longer is because of the different points of view. There's like 3 groups in Jurassic Park running around.
Yeah.
You know? There's the kids lost in the park.
Mm-hmm.
There's the people back at the camp or at the main facilities, and there's a guy running around trying to escape the island.
Yeah.
With the eggs, you know?
Yeah.
So the 3 different points of view adds a lot more depth to what you're saying. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But like this book was literally Jurassic Park. Except
I wouldn't say that.
yeah, okay. Parallels.
I mean, yeah, there are parallels, but
Scientists create
mm-hmm.
something that they shouldn't create.
Mm-hmm.
Something that they created gets out of hand. Something that they created kills scientists. They get it under control.
Yeah, but like you can literally put that into anything.
It was pretty. Yeah,
Like,
but it's
that's
by
a
the same
pretty-
author too.
Yeah, but that's a pretty like you're. I guess like I would comparing things. I would compare things that have a little bit more connected than just like a very bare bones storyline. Because like you could literally have 20,000 different stories,
Yeah.
all with that same
That's
storyline, and none of them be similar.
I guess. I'm saying that because it's the same author, and it just feels like he took the outline for whichever one he wrote first, and he was like, "Let's make it dinosaurs this time."
Well, I mean, I think that's his writing. He writes things like
Warnings against.
It's like I don't know what I want to say speculative fiction or
That makes
speculative sci-fi or something, but like he writes like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's always about like pushing scientific boundaries and like questioning the ethical reasons behind things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, cause like, there's a similar pattern with like all mysteries. Like all mysteries have the same pattern. All romances pretty much have the same pattern.
Yeah.
But like they're not the same book.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course I'm right.
You're right. Okay.
But no. What about you?
What was the question?
I didn't ask a question. I couldn't think of one.
Okay, what was your favorite part of the book?
You answer first.
My favorite part of the book was the ending, the climax, where they're running around. Spoiler time. He's uncovered this plot, and all of the, I was about to say aliens, but it's all the humans that have been taken over by these nanobots, are chasing him down.
Yeah.
And they drink the E. coli?
I don't know.
They drink poopy
It was like
sludge.
it was sludge.
They drink poopy brown sludge and get E. coli from it because I missed the reason that guaranteed the nanobots couldn't deal with them.
I think it was like they're built with E. coli, or like their DNA is started from E. coli or something.
Yeah, that's right, because they ate the rabbit trying to get E. coli. Their nanobots did.
Yeah. And that's why they're able to... I don't know.
But if the humans had it, why couldn't they? I don't know. It worked. And he outsmarts them and gets it, and he checkmates them too. He doesn't even like necessarily win. That like he doesn't defeat them. He just locks them into a spot, and they can't leave it. It's like you either do this and you'll lose, or you do this and you'll lose, and you have no other option. It was very well played. I liked it a lot. What about you?
I did like that a lot. Like the intense moments whenever it was like there were like the like what's gonna happen? What are these nanobots doing? And especially whenever we find out that like, oh, these nanobots are controlling the humans, and they're
That was a good reveal.
like I enjoyed those moments. I just wanted more of those moments, or even just more of anything in general.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like way too short. But like the parts whenever like we're finding out what these creatures are doing, like the nanobots, like seeing them for the first time and all this stuff, and we're learning stuff, and we know like that something else is going on because the main guy is acting real fishy and weird, just like his wife was.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't know it yet. Like, I really enjoyed that. Like, how, like, you could tell something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the main character could tell something was wrong. But we weren't able to figure it out until, like, all the layers were pulled back.
Yeah.
And everything was revealed very slowly and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought that was masterfully done.
Mm-hmm.
The peeling of the layers. Because, like, he was hinting at it the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So, very early on, I guess the whole premise of the book was that these nanobots had already taken over the entire facility. You know? The wife had been taken over, because it mentions that one time she comes home, and she, like, shimmers into black. Right? Or, like, gray, like a cloak. Yeah. Well, he wakes up, and he, like, half remembers it, but he thinks it's a dream.
Oh, maybe.
And that's like the nanobots having already controlled her. And then they're dealing with, but you sort of just forget about it because it was like 30 seconds, and then he gets to the facilities, and they're dealing with nanobots who are way less advanced than that, replicating a human. You know, they're just imitating prey, and then they 2D imitate a human, and then it's revealed that there are two groups of nanobots. One inside the facility that had really escalated, evolved into imitating humans and taking over humans, and then the other one was just a wild strand that had gotten out, that was self-replicating itself, that was rebuilding itself outside the facility. I thought that was a very good reveal. I thought that it was a good little mystery with a nice, you know, the plot twist ending and everything, where all the humans weren't humans. And it was just the wife, and she was running around.
It was also the guy.
Yeah, there was a man and a woman, I guess, and they were running around trying to infect everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the one thing that bothered me, so the wife comes home, and the nanobots, right? And she gives it to her.
I mean, she's not
child.
as the nanobots. Like, the nanobots are inside the humans.
Yeah.
Like, they're still humans. They just have nanobots in them.
Controlling them.
Yeah, but it's not like...
It's not just like...
It's not like
a
the...
massive nanobots making the body itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so the wife comes home and intentionally gives her baby the nanobots?
I don't think...
Because
I don't think she... I don't think at that point she intentionally gave the baby the nanobots. Because, like, she ends up calling that team and, like, cleaning it all up.
That's true. Yeah.
At the end, she's like, I kissed them.
Yeah.
Like, I
Oh,
all
she kissed the
intentionally
children.
kissed the children.
Yeah.
And then she's like, save my babies.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's, like, I think it was after he was gone. She intentionally kissed them.
Yeah. But then, like, at the same time, could you not have kissed the husband right then, too? And just gotten it all over with? I mean, he suspected her of cheating at that moment.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I just thought that would have been easier than...
I don't think she was, like, fully... I mean, I may be viewing it wrong or, like, not how he wanted it to, but I consider, like, at the beginnings, like, she's still, like, half in control, half not. Like, it's not like she... Like, it's just... the nanobots are making her more irritable and irrational and stuff like that, and it's not her being completely controlled by them yet.
That makes sense.
But then by the end of it, they've evolved enough to be able to completely control them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they were evolving pretty fast, and, like, the way that she was interacting with him was, like, different. Because at the first, it was like she was, like, pushing him away and, like, just being, like, really angry and mean and stuff like that. But then, like, at the end, whenever she is trying to kiss him and stuff, she's trying to be all flirty and, like, loving and stuff. But, like, he can tell, like, it's, like, not 100% right.
Kiss me, darling. Just kiss me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. And you're smart. You're smart beans. This is weird because, like, we've talked about trilogies or like longer groups of books recently. I feel like. Haven't we?
No.
Maybe not.
What do you mean?
Darker Shade of Magic.
Are you already
and
done
romance.
talking about this book?
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It feels weird because I'm normally, like, thinking about, like, a big chunk.
Yeah, the story, like, even compared to, like, A Darker Shade of Magic that we read, like, that story feels longer than this one.
Yeah.
This feels like it's, like, we're talking about, like, a short story.
It was 6 hours long on Etsy. Libby.
Yeah, it was a fun, like, it was a normal length novel.
Yeah.
And even if it was a short story, it'd be fine. Like, it's still a full story.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't in depth. As in depth as, like, at least I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, it's not, I'm not saying it's a bad book because it wasn't in depth. I gave it 3 stars.
Yeah.
It's just not, I don't know. One thing I guess would have liked to have seen more of is just the people to have been alive longer. Like, they just died. Like, the people who did die, died really quick. And, like, by the time those 2 people died, I was like, okay, there's only 3 of them left. Like, I don't think he's gonna kill everybody. Like, that's not what he did in...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm comparing it to just one book that he's written. But, you know, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure we've killed everyone that's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And we end up later, like, one more person dies later on. But it was just the 2 people who died whenever they first went outside to, like, kind of go on the little mission to, like, go out to the shed. They died so quick.
Yeah, you had just met them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah, that's it seemed abrupt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It seemed abrupt. And I think part of it's just there wasn't any character development, or all it was storytelling.
Yeah.
There was 0 character development, 0 in-depth anything other than him just telling you what's happening, which was fine. It was okay. Just not the types of books we read.
Yeah.
I
feel like this would be a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this would be a good, like, intense, like, suspense type of movie. Especially, like, the parts whenever they are, like, outside, like, with the nanobots, and, like, the nanobots see them in the window and, like, are following the footsteps and stuff.
Oh,
and then they're,
so
like,
cool.
having to, like, flock, and then the guy freaks out and runs away. And then, like, later on they look and the bodies are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then just, like, them, like, sit... I think the most, like, intense part for me, like, not even the, like, the most intense part for me was when they were sitting in the cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because, like, it was just, like, they were watching them, just waiting for them to get inside. Like, they knew that they would be able to find a way inside.
Yeah.
And so they were just waiting. And then, like, while they're waiting, they end up making a mirror of them and just, like, start imitating them. And it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, just watching evolution happen just like, super quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, like, even the ending, whenever, like, they're, like, we find out that they've infested the humans and they're all running around trying to, like, basically explode everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, the car scene was much more intense for me.
Cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I would have enjoyed seeing was if he wrote a couple chapters from the wife's point of view, and you just don't, it never insinuates or tells you that she's been infected. Like, maybe at the very beginning, when she hasn't been infected yet, or she just got infected and the nanobots haven't evolved enough to, like, take control of her, they're just inside her. You know, if it just showed you some of her points of view, her thoughts, and then, like, as it goes on, it shows you what she's doing, and it's suspicious. It's pretty sus.
Yeah.
But it just never And then at the end, I think it would have been much more meaningful if we got to just hang out with her one-on-one.
Yeah.
In her head. Just give it more depth, more storylines, I guess.
Yeah.
Or character lines to follow, other than just his.
Yeah. One thing I didn't understand why it was even in the book was them having kids.
Yeah.
Like, I understood it, like, at the beginning, like, he's a stay-at-home dad, but he doesn't really want to be. He's been trying to find work, but it's just, like, his life has become these kids, like, just taking care of the kids, and the wife has been doing all the work. But, like, once he leaves, like, we talked to the kids, like, 2 times, and it's like, are you coming back soon? Okay. And it was just like, why even have those phone calls with the kids?
Yeah, and like how he called his sister before any of this happened, even. She just came down because he thought she was cheating on him.
Yeah.
And then he just leaves without telling anybody. That's a cat butthole. He just leaves, and the sister just doesn't even ask.
Yeah.
He's just gone. I don't know. It was... And the only reason he wrote the sister into the story is so that she could be there for the kids. Yeah,
so the kids wouldn't be just by themselves.
Yeah, they just weren't... They existed for nothing. They were no part of the story. And I mean, I guess, like they don't need to be, but also...
It felt like they didn't feel like his actual children. Yeah. They felt like plot points.
Yeah.
Like, they felt like, I have to do this, I have to get back to my kids, instead of, like, them actually being kids. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense, you know? The ending annoyed me a little.
Why?
Like, the very, very end. Whenever it just kind of leaves you on, like, a cliffhanger of, like, you don't really know, like, if everything's okay or not.
Yeah.
Like, they see people walking up, and, like, it's kind of, like, hinted, like, are these actual people, or are these the nanobots walking up? And, like, it just ends. And it's like, sometimes I enjoy those endings, like, I enjoy where we get to decide, but for this book, because there wasn't a lot of detail, I would have liked to have known which one it was.
Yeah. And the helicopter? Was it the helicopter?
No, this was after he got home and he was like, his kids were he forced his kids to throw up. Because he was forcing the nanobots out of them.
Yeah.
And it was like they had like called in the government.
Yeah.
He called in the government and all that stuff, and and like they were trying to like, because the nanobots had released like themselves out everywhere.
Yeah.
And so
that was another thing. It seemed very easy for these people to call in the government and a squad of suited up dudes, suited in as like hazmat suits, would show up and clean the place.
Yeah.
It happened twice. And I was like, I mean, this seems pretty easy, man. I don't think you could actually do that.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you can if you work in that type of government facility.
Or what was it? Yeah.
Because, like, if like, you worked at, like, with, like, radiation and then you accidentally brought some radiation home, I'm sure it'd be really easy for you to, like, call it in to come pick it up or clean it off or whatever.
That's valid. But he was doing the calling.
Not the first time.
Well, yeah.
And after the second time, he was already with the government because they rescued him.
Yeah. I just thought it was weird.
Yeah.
And, like, the crew following him around, like, when his car crashed.
Her car crashed.
Yeah, her car crashed, and there was just a crew sitting watching. Mm-hmm. I thought that was weird.
I think they were probably waiting to clean up the car to be sure there weren't any nanobugs. But then they didn't want to have to answer his questions because they're just sitting there all sus.
All sus. Yeah. I thought the scene in the shack was weird where they get in and then they start acting like birds flocking around. But how many were there? Were there 4 of them?
No, there were 5.
Oh, there were 5 in the shack?
Yeah, because 2 died in the shed.
2 died. Oh.
The guy died because he freaked out and couldn't handle it.
Uh-huh.
And then the girl died because she was like, we have to help him.
What a moron.
Yeah.
The first guy. The second. The girl's fine. Helping people's good. Still. Well, it just... And then, yeah, that's right, because then there were 2 in one car and 1 in a guy in a truck, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they could have driven away the entire time or something.
No, they didn't have the keys. They were just unlocked.
But didn't they get into a vehicle and drive?
They got into, like, one that was inside the shed.
That's right, they went back to the shed to get in a vehicle.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Yeah. It's been a little bit since we read the book. A couple weeks.
But, I enjoyed that part. Like, I liked how the nanobots were originally trained with the predator-prey thing, and how, like, that played into it and stuff. And how, like, because he was expecting them to just be predators and prey, he knew how to act.
Yeah.
And how to, like, kind of survive. But then, once they start evolving, he realizes that's not what prey and predator, like, that's not what that does.
Mm-hmm.
Something else is different here, something's wrong here. And so then he just kind of, like, loses all knowledge. And so he's, like, kind of, like, blind and in the dark.
You very clearly watch them evolve past his knowledge of how they work. That was cool.
Yeah. And also, whenever they were in... one thing I didn't get was whenever they were in the, like, termite mounds and, like, the caves. I don't know. I was just like...
That seemed way too easy.
Yeah, it was very easy. Especially because they were still awake. Like, they were supposed to be asleep, but they weren't. And yet, it was just, like, in and out.
They were, like, throwing...
No one died.
Thermite grenades, flashbang type deals to burn or flare, I don't know, incapacitate the nanobots.
Yeah.
And then, like, they get down to the bottom and they destroy their manufacture, like, the nanobots had built their own reproduction system where they were just pumping out more nanobots, and they blow it up. And they're like, aha, we've defeated them, but we don't have enough thermite to get back to the top. And then they get back to the top.
Yeah.
And they act like that's defeated the wild hives of nanobots, but could they not just build another reproductive system?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just... He needed a way to get rid of the wild hive so that it was just no longer an issue anymore, and then you could actually worry about...
Well, they didn't realize that there was another hive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's whenever they thought
they thought they won.
Yeah.
And then they go back and they're like, oh no, there's another worse hive. I call them hives, swarms. But that wouldn't have... It's not like they killed all the nanobots out there. It was weird. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure about that part.
I feel like a lot of the issues could have been solved if there had just been more in-depth.
Yeah.
Or like if this book needs to be longer, it needs to be longer. That's fine. Like, it's a good premise, and I don't think you would be lacking for, like, information and knowledge and things to happen with this premise of human eating, like, whatever. They're not really eating them. They're just taking them over. Mm-hmm. But, like, they're just evolving nanobots that are gonna take over the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely could have been more depth. I still thought it was good. Maybe I liked it so much because it read just like an action movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was very concise. That's the word I've been looking for the entire night. It was very concise. Just blow-by-blow scenes. And normally what I don't like about movie adaptations of books, and I understand that they're two different forms, yeah. But, like, spending so much time in somebody's head and getting to watch their decisions and see their character development so much more in the books, and then you go to a movie where it feels so much more shallow. This book wouldn't have that issue because there's no character development, there's no parts where it's in your head, and so it would, I think this would adapt very well to a movie.
I picture this being a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, explosions.
Like the when the nanobots are exploded and the buildings are exploded. Maybe he'll add a few more things that explode, you know. Maybe whenever they destroy the nanobots, they explode too, you know. I don't know.
Little pops.
Yeah, but like, I can see this being one of his like little movies. They're good.
Yeah.
But they're also, it's not like a critically acclaimed movie. It's just like
explosions.
Yeah. It's just like something you veg out to, and like when you want to just see things blow up.
Yeah. That'd make a good movie. I'd watch that.
Mm-hmm.
That movie would be 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time we talk about books, I start thinking, and I'm like, I'll just knock off a star. Every single time we've discussed a book, I take a star off of what I gave it.
Why?
4 stars. Half star. I don't know. Just because I guess I don't think about things, and then you bring them to my attention. I'm like, no, you're right.
Yeah, but like just because we've discussed it doesn't mean you have to change your, like, even if you agree with all the things that like I didn't necessarily love about it.
Yeah.
Like, it can still be a 5-star book because you enjoyed it at the time and you really, like, you just really liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, 5-star ratings are, like, different for every person. Like...
My 5-star ratings are special, though.
Yeah, like, some people's 5-star ratings are, like, for only, like, favorite books of all time. And, some people, like me, it's just books that, like, I think back on. And, like, I would want that on my shelf, you know? And, like, I gave a book the other day 5 stars. But, like, it was just a really quick, kind of shallow, like, romance book. Mm-hmm. Like, it was great and I loved it. But, like, if I was to compare it to, like, other 5-star books I read, it wouldn't hold up.
Yeah.
But, like, that doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve those 5 stars. So you can keep it at 5 stars.
I don't think it deserves my 5-star rating, though.
No?
4 stars. Still a good book. It was a good book. But, like, is it Bert Meeks good? Okay, that's too high of a rating. Is it... No, Brandon Sanderson is still... It's just a different class. You gotta be Bert Meeks or Brandon Sanderson to hit my 5-star rating. That's just the truth of the matter. So.
Okay. Here, I want to see if this book has a, see if it does have extra books in this series. No, there's not. It's just a solo book.
How can you tell so quick?
Because it doesn't have, like, see that says our...
Oh, Andromeda 2?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh.
But yeah, I definitely want to read more Michael Crichton. Like, I feel like his books are going to be ones that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And, like, even if I don't enjoy all of them, I feel like there'd be enough of them that I enjoy that he could I could see him becoming one of my favorite authors.
Watch them all be the exact same premise, just with different... He wrote the outline in high school once for an assignment. He's like, well, this is good. Never leaving this. Sphere is about humans that create jelly spheres that roll around, bounce around, and just kill people and they get out of hand.
Let's see.
A group of American scientists are rushed to a huge vessel that has been discovered rusting in the ocean floor in the middle of the South Pacific, where they find defies their imaginations and mocks their attempts at logical explanation. It's a spaceship of phenomenal dimensions. Apparently under damage by its fall from the sky, and most startling, it appears to be at least 300 years old. The suspense is real, the New York Times book review. A page-turner. I always think it's funny when they put, like, the New York Times blurb, like, oh, this is a suspenseful book. I don't care about you. It bothers me so much when I flip a book over to read the synopsis and it's just like one-word reviews. Yeah. Thrilling! I don't care.
Yeah.
Tell me what the book's about.
Yeah, I never understood, like, I guess I get why they have it, like, here. Let me see.
There was one on the back of the book I was looking at.
Yeah. Well, both of these. This one has actual people, like authors, who are saying good things, but this one just has magazines and stuff and praising who for the one. But like, I never understand why. Let me rephrase that. I understand why books have it on the back. Because, like, oh, if my favorite author liked it, then maybe I'll like it. And stuff like that. Or, like, if a really famous author likes it, it gives it some credit. Especially if it's a debut or something like that. But, like, for me, I don't care. I never read them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, me either.
Mainly because, like, if someone else loves it, like,
doesn't mean you're gonna love it.
Yeah, like, good, cool, I'm glad you liked it. But, like, that's not gonna sway my opinion on whether I like it or not. What was your least favorite scene?
I don't know.
You know?
You go first.
I go first?
Yeah.
My least favorite scene... I keep wanting to think, like, I know it's not my least favorite scene, but the one that's coming to my head is whenever he forces her into the machine thing that's like the MRI. Oh. And, like, all the nanobots, like, disperse from her, and she's, like, this decrepit, like, half-eaten human now. And she's, like, that's not necessarily my least favorite, but that was the one I'm thinking of. Let me think of an actual one I disliked.
My least favorite was when the baby got sick from the, like, she accidentally brought the nanobots home. The baby got it. It was just crying and hurting and everything. Not because it was a bad scene. It was just sad because the baby was hurting.
Yeah.
And then they put her in the MRI and all the robots died.
Yeah. I think my least favorite scene was probably them going down into the cave with the termites.
Yeah. It's pretty unrealistic.
Yeah.
Compared to, like...
It was hard to picture what was going on, which, like, a lot of times I can't really picture anyway. But, like,
yeah.
I didn't really know what was going on at all in that scene. And then also it just was, like, very confusing. Yeah. I was very confused. Like, that 1 minute they were in it, and then 1 minute they were out and the day had been saved. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Question. If the nanobots are mega tiny, why did the molehill termite thing that they built have man-sized holes in it? Yeah. Starting at the top, and they just walked on down there. Yeah. Throwing thermite around, blew it up, and then walked out. Like, that's just illogical. If you're mega tiny, your things are mega tiny. Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't it be like an actual termite mound?
Yeah. Like, they said that a swarm, if they condensed, would be like this big on the ground. You know? You don't need a man, like, their entire compound could be man-sized alone. Like, it could be 5 feet deep. That's all it needed to be. Yeah. But it was like they were just walking, like, yards and yards and yards. A couple hundred yards into this tunnel that they built for no reason at all.
And they weren't even crawling.
Yeah, they were just walking down a tunnel, man-sized tunnel. I guess they needed to get the humans down it, because they had just brought a human inside it, right?
Yeah, I guess, but, like,
still,
you could tear the human apart.
Well, yeah, pull it apart particle by particle, because I think they were doing it to learn how to imitate humans. That's why they were dragging them away. But, like, they could have just pulled it apart particle by particle and known how to do it. Yeah. Because it was a hive mind. Not really. No, it wasn't hive mind, but it was collective conscious. So, like, whatever one knew, the rest of them knew.
No.
Or whatever.
No, it was like a flock of birds. Like, just because, like, they're not all thinking the same thing, they're just following one another and imitating one another.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why if one person goes one way, everyone else follows, not because they're all thinking, we're gonna go this way, it's just because, oh, this person's going this way, I'm gonna go this way. So, like, they all...
That's right.
And that was why, like, whenever they got separated, they weren't smart enough to do anything. But it was when they were together and they were all, like, especially when they were around the cars and they were all trying different spots, that's when they were smarter. But then when they were, like, if it was just one, it wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was alright.
I enjoyed it. I think it was a good October-y read. Probably wasn't the best one to, like, read because it wasn't, like, an actual, like, thriller. But, you know, I still enjoyed it. And
Me too.
I'm glad we read it for the spooky month.
Yeah, it was good.
And then next, on the 28th, we will be discussing My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. And then the first book in November is Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire, I think. And for this one, we may read multiple of them because they're so tiny. Like, this one's only 173 pages.
They're very small.
Yeah. But there's, like, there's 6 books in the series.
Cool.
But they're all that tiny. So we may read more of them, and we may just read the first one.
Okay.
But that will be the first one in November on 11/11. So
Make a wish.
Yeah, that's why I picked this one because it's like a stories about, like, kids who go into these magical lands and they come back and, like, they're having to deal with normal life.
Narnia.
Yeah, like the people who went to Narnia, but then, like, their lives once they come back.
Interesting.
And, like, Alice in Wonderland and coming back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I figured that was very make-a-wishy.
Whimsical.
Yeah. So we'll do that. So I guess if you don't have anything else left to say about this book.
I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so too. I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you read Prey and had different thoughts, let us know. But yeah. Watch this actually be a movie. And we just don't know it yet.
It might be. That'd be funny.
Yeah. If it is, we're gonna watch it.
Yeah, we have to.
But yeah. So that's it. We'll see you on the 28th for Best Friend's Exorcism. And yeah, I guess we should end it now.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great morning or evening whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye, guys.